Hello there, welcome to, I believe this is our third video, isn't it, in our baseball statistic uh, lesson to help you kind of see some of the functions of Excel spreadsheet and the math power that it brings with it. This, I believe, is what your current spreadsheet should look like. So if you don't have that open on your desktop, you need to stop the video now and go get that. Next thing, again, I recommend as always, please make your screen large or big enough to where you can clearly see what's happening in these cells as I do it in the lesson, and then you follow along in your spreadsheet on your computer. Okay, so we're going to just do some creative formula, a little creative formula lesson here. And to make this work, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to copy this entire spreadsheet. And the easiest way to do that is begin by taking your mouse and go up to the kind of the left-hand corner to the left of column A and above column 1. Now make sure you're far enough to the left where you're not sitting on that gray line. You want to be just kind of past that little triangle, and you click on that. You might have to click twice, and your screen should do that. It should become all gray with the exception of cell A1. What that's just done is that's basically copied that entire sheet, and then take your mouse and put it anywhere in the gray and then do a right click. You want to do a right click, copy. Okay, now you see the little ants running around. That's exactly what you want. Now this is going to be a little different from you. Go down here, right next to where it says total hits at the bottom. Go to the right, there's a plus sign. Okay, and it's when you set your mouse over it, it says new sheet. I want you to click on that. And all of a sudden, it's going to say sheet 1, and the screen's going to become white, just like it did in the video you're watching. And then go right back here to cell A1. And in cell A1, I want you to do another right click. You get this menu. And go right here to where it says paste. And all I did was hover, and you see that appear. And then just click it. And then what you just did is you just pasted all that information from that spreadsheet, that sheet we just did, into another sheet here. Now what you'll need to do is click your mouse anywhere on the screen. Okay, now before we go on, look at the bottom. You'll see now it says sheet 1. That's the one that's white. There's a gray one that says total hits. So let's just look and see what we have here. Go to where it says total hits and click on it. You're going to see you still have the ants marching around, because the spreadsheet is thinking you still might want to paste this information somewhere on this sheet. So all you need to do to stop that, take your mouse anywhere in the spreadsheet and just double click, and it'll all go away. Okay, so again, at the bottom of the screen you have total hits and you have sheet 1. There, now we've made that the ants go away. Now go over to sheet 1 and click on that one again. It'll look like your screen didn't change, but it really did. It went to the second sheet for you. Okay, so now what I want you to do is on sheet 1, put your mouse right over where it says sheet 1, do a right click, and go to where it says rename. Click rename. What we're going to do now is we're going to rename this spreadsheet, or this sheet, and we're going to call it Formula Fun, and hit enter. All right, so now you have two sheets, total hits, Formula Fun, and right now they look exactly the same when you do that. Okay, so basically what you have is you have two files basically sitting on top of each other, or two sheets within one file, that is, sitting on top of each other. And we're going to do some different things on this sheet and we'll do some other things on the total hits in another video. But since we're talking about formulas, I thought it would be good to show you some other things we could do. So let's try this. Make sure your screen is looking like mine. Let's go down to maybe row number 13. Get that out of the way. Whoops, I don't want that. Row 13. So let's go to cell A13 and let's type a question. How many hits, and you can follow along with me, let's change that. How many, let's say, at bats did Hosmer and, let's say, Moustakas have combined? And we're going to put the answer in this cell over here. All right, so let's just, one thing you could do, and I don't want you to do this because you'll completely miss the point. You could just add these two numbers together on a calculator, type it in there. That's not what we want to do. There are going to be times when you design a spreadsheet and you might want to add one number of a cell to another number in a completely different cell. All right, so how many at-bats did Hosmer and Moustakas have combined? So we're going to type the answer in cell G13. Now, if your spreadsheet for some reason has those letters overlapping into G13 like mine, all you have to do is grab right next to cell F, stretch it out so that there's a gray bar in between column G, all right, and column F there, right there. Okay, so you should have this typed in. If you have to pause the video to do that at this time. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to use a formula to do this computation for us. Okay, and it's really, really pretty simple. So what we want to do is we want to add Hosmer and Moustakas at-bats. Now this column B, those are all the at-bats. So basically we want to add this cell, which is cell B5, plus cell B8, but we do not want to add cells B6 or B7, and we don't want to add cell B9. So we have the power to manipulate the math computations exactly like we want. And we always begin a formula with an equal sign. So type in an equal sign. Again, you can type up here. This might be easier to be typing in this area here, or you can type in the cell area as well. Make sure that that cell G13 again is selected. Okay, so then what we want to do is we want to add. So we're going to type sum, S-U-M, parenthesis. Now here's where it gets a little interesting. We are going to click, first of all, on Hosmer's at-bat cell, which is cell B5. Just click once, and you'll see that it says cell B5. Okay, keep that in there. Now click on the Moustakas cell. Whoops, that didn't work. Let's go back. Just click on B5 again. Sorry, we have to type in a plus sign. I missed that part because we are typing in these two formulas. We're going to go B5 plus, click on B8, and now you'll see that only those two are selected. Now we're going to do shift, parenthesis, and hit enter. And what we just did there is we are now adding those two cells alone. All right, sum B5 plus B8. Now here's the interesting thing. We actually could have done that computation without the word sum, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the next one. Right there, we'll come up with another question. How about skip a row down to B15, and let's type in how many, let's do, let's say singles did, let's say Hosmer, Kane, and Perez have combined. And then arrow over to, or click over to cell G15 now. Okay, so pause the video if you need to catch up. Type in how many singles did Hosmer, Kane, and Perez have combined. Now, if you didn't know or you don't understand, 1B, that means single. It means one base. You hit the ball and you make a hit, not an error, and you reach stop at first base after that hit. So we want to add Hosmer, Kane, and Perez without adding the other players that are not listed in that particular question. And this is so easy to do if you just have been following along with the things I've been saying. Now, we're going to do it a little differently than the last one, because when I did the Hosmer and Moustakas at bats, I forgot as I was doing the video that you don't have to type in the word sum if you're just telling it to select a few individual things, because who knows, you might want to multiply or add or subtract, so you might not want the word sum. So let's do it without the word sum this time. Okay, we're going to hit equal sign. We're going to look at column C, 1B, singles. We want Hosmer, and all we're going to do is we're going to click on the cell that has Hosmer's singles, which is cell C5. When I do that, you see the little ants running around C5. You also see it appear in my formula here because you have to have that equal sign in there. If you didn't have the equal sign in there, it's probably doing something different. It might give you an error or something else. Now, just hit a plus sign, as we want to add that. We want to add Hosmer to Keynes. Now you'll notice when you hit that plus sign, the ants stopped running around. It became solid. So it's like, okay, the spreadsheet's saying, okay, I think I understand you're going to use that in a formula, and you're now going to add that. We want Keynes singles, just 126. You got the ants in there, but then you hit a plus sign again. So we want to add Hosmer Kane, and we want to add Perez to those as well. So now you skip down to Perez and click on the 74, which is cell C9, which it says in here. So again, if you look in your formula, it says C5 plus C6 plus C9. And what you've done is you've chosen the particular cells that you want to do the addition. Now in mathematics, as you're probably learning at this point, and if you're not, you will shortly, these are variables. Okay, the cells are a variable because I could go and change those numbers. Like we could go in and get their new statistics at the end of the year, which it's not the end of the year right now, but so this date has changed. So we could go back and change these numbers, and it would change the computation for us after we've done the spreadsheet. Okay, so make sure your cell looks just like that. Equals C5 plus C6 plus C9. Hit enter, and there it is. 333 is the combination of singles that Hosmer, Perez, and Kane have combined. Okay, now I'm going to make a couple questions pop up here and see if you can do the formulas to find the computation here in a moment. Okay, if you are now in the video still going, you have 3 questions that have popped up on your screen that I typed in here. The first one says in cell A17, it says how many doubles did Merrifield and Perez have combined? In cell A19, it says how many home runs did Moustakas, Hosmer, and Perez have combined? And cell A21 says how many total hits did Hosmer and Merrifield have combined? Would you pause the video at this time and type in those questions, please? And now if you're back and you have those typed in, I would like you to now put the formulas into the cells next to those questions, just like I did in cells G17 is where I would like that answer typed. I'm sorry, I'd like you to do it just like the cell, just like we did in cell G13. You'll do the formula into cell G17. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. G17 for this question, cell G19 for that question, and cell C21 for that question there. So hit pause and input those formulas, and I'm going to have them just appear on the screen, and then I'll show you the solutions if you couldn't get it to work. So hit pause now and try to get those formulas to work. Okay, if you're back, here come the answers. And for your last piece here, this is what you should have had. In cell G17, it should say 56 there, and the way that you did that is this is what you should have typed at the top. It should say equal D7 plus D9, and you can see even when I click and highlight up in this area, it highlights the cells that are being added together to get that number. Now if you do that right now like I did, make sure you hit enter afterwards. Enter is what turns it into the number right there. So that should say 56. If I go down to cell G19, it should say 89. And if you look in the white bar up where my mouse is moving, that should say equals F5 plus F8 plus F9. And then the last one, 351, should say, that cell should have said equals G5 plus G7. So make sure you're doing it that way and not just typing in the numbers, because you're really not learning anything if that's what you're doing, because this is the power of the spreadsheet and how it can really be beneficial for you. That's the end of part 3, and next I will show you how to calculate batting average.